Now time for focus, and it is 27 years.
Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of South Africa's most controversial topics, Orania. A small, self-sufficient town in the Northern Cape, Orania has been described as a whites-only community. But what's the real story behind this town? Why is it growing so rapidly? A town built on a dream, Orania's origins and ideals are deeply rooted in its unique and complex history. The question is, could a black person go to Europe and create a whites-only community? The answer is complicated. While private property rights exist everywhere, most societies strive for inclusivity. Exclusive communities based on race or ethnicity are often met with legal and social resistance. Orania is a small town located in the arid heart of South Africa, a place where the landscape is as challenging as the ideals it was founded upon. Despite its legal foundation, Orania has faced intense criticism. Many see it as a relic of apartheid, a place where black South Africans are not welcome. The town's leadership insists that it's not about race but about cultural preservation. However, the reality is that Orania is almost exclusively white, and black South Africans are not allowed to live there. Founded in 1991, just before the fall of apartheid, it stands as a unique experiment in self-governance and cultural preservation. Its founders, primarily Afrikaner families, envisioned a place where they could preserve their language, culture, and way of life amidst a rapidly changing nation. They sought refuge from what they saw as the threats of reverse discrimination and the potential for violence in a post-apartheid South Africa, hoping to create a safe haven. The town's founders purchased attractive land and set about building a community from scratch, driven by a vision of self-sufficiency and resilience. They were driven by a strong sense of self-reliance and a desire to create a safe and prosperous future for their children, a place where they could thrive and grow. Orania's early years were marked by hardship and uncertainty, as the settlers faced numerous challenges in their quest to build a new life. The settlers faced skepticism and hostility from many outside their community, who questioned their motives and the viability of their project. Let's address the elephant in the room. Is it fair for a community to exclude others based on race or culture? Imagine if someone came to your house and said, "You can't enter this room." It would feel unfair, right? So, how do we reconcile Orania's right to self-determination with the principles of equality and inclusivity? However, they persevered, united by their shared vision and determination to prove their detractors wrong, showing resilience in the face of adversity. They transformed the barren landscape into a functioning town with its own schools, hospitals, and businesses, creating a self-sustaining community that continues to grow. Orania, to this day, remains a testament to the power of human determination, the enduring appeal of self-determination, and the strength of a community united by a common purpose and shared dreams. The color line controversy surrounds Orania's racial exclusivity. This small town in South Africa has become a focal point for debates on race and community, drawing attention from both national and international observers. The most contentious aspect of Orania is its racial makeup. The town is exclusively populated by white Afrikaners, a fact that has sparked significant debate and criticism from various quarters. This policy of racial exclusion has drawn widespread condemnation, with critics labeling it as a racist enclave that perpetuates the legacy of apartheid, a system that once divided the nation. Many argue that such a community goes against the spirit of unity and reconciliation that South Africa has been striving for since the end of apartheid. They believe it undermines the progress made towards a more inclusive society. Orania's residents, however, argue that their community is not founded on racism but on the principle of self-determination. They believe that they have the right to live amongst their own people and preserve their cultural heritage, which they see as under threat in the broader South African context. They point out that they are not advocating for the oppression of other racial groups, but simply seeking to live separately, in a manner they believe is peaceful and respectful. They point out that they are not advocating for the oppression of other racial groups, but simply seeking to live separately. This argument, however, fails to address the historical context in which Orania exists, a context deeply rooted in the painful history of apartheid. This argument, however, fails to address the historical context in which Orania exists. The legacy of apartheid, with its brutal system of racial segregation, casts a long shadow over South Africa, influencing perceptions and realities even today. The legacy of apartheid, with its brutal system of racial segregation, casts a long shadow over South Africa. For many, Orania's existence serves as a painful reminder of that dark chapter, and its racial policies are seen as a direct affront to the values of equality and reconciliation that underpin post-apartheid South Africa. The town's policies are often viewed as a step backward in the nation's journey towards healing. For many, Orania's existence serves as a painful reminder of that dark chapter, and its racial policies are seen as a direct affront to the values of equality and reconciliation that underpin post-apartheid South Africa. The debate over Orania continues to be a microcosm of the larger issues of race, identity, and community in South Africa today, reflecting the ongoing struggle to balance cultural preservation with national unity. Private property, public debate. There are lessons to be learned from Orania's model of self-reliance. Black communities can also benefit from working together, building businesses, and creating sustainable systems. But the key difference is inclusivity. We must build communities that uplift everyone, not just one group. Understanding Orania's membership rules. Central to Orania's existence is its status as private property. This unique characteristic sets it apart from other towns in South Africa, making it a unique case study in property rights and community governance. The town is owned and operated by a shareholding company. This company is responsible for maintaining the town's infrastructure and upholding its founding principles, ensuring that the town remains true to its original vision. Only those who subscribe to the town's founding principles and are deemed to be of good character are eligible to become residents. This vetting process ensures that the community remains aligned with its original vision and values. This policy of selective membership is defended by Orania's residents as a natural extension of their property rights. They believe it is essential for preserving their way of life and cultural heritage which they hold dear. They argue that just as individuals have the right to choose who they associate with, so too should communities have the right to determine their own membership. This perspective is rooted in the belief that community cohesion is vital for their survival and prosperity. Critics, however, argue that this policy is discriminatory and violates the South African Constitution's guarantee of freedom of movement and residence. They see it as a form of exclusion that undermines national unity and social cohesion. They point out that the very notion of a town being privately owned is problematic in a country still grappling with the legacy of land dispossession under apartheid. This historical context adds a layer of complexity to the debate, making it even more contentious. The debate over Orania's membership policy highlights the complex interplay between individual rights and collective aspirations. It forces us to consider how we balance personal freedoms with the needs of a community and what compromises might be necessary. It raises fundamental questions about the limits of private property and the nature of citizenship in a democratic society. These questions are not just theoretical, but have real implications for how we live together and interact as a society. Section 4. Booming in the Bushveld. Orania's growth and economic self-sufficiency. Despite the controversy, Orania has experienced remarkable growth in recent years. The town's population has swelled, attracting Afrikaners from across South Africa and even further afield. This growth can be attributed to a number of factors. One is the town's reputation for safety and security. In a country plagued by high crime rates, Orania stands out as an oasis of tranquility. Another factor is the town's strong sense of community. Residents speak of a spirit of cooperation and shared purpose that is rare in modern society. Furthermore, Orania's economy has flourished. The town has attracted businesses and investors drawn to its low taxes, limited regulation, and hard-working workforce. Orania's success stands in stark contrast to the economic struggles of many other rural towns in South Africa, lending credence to its residents' claims of self-reliance. Section 5. Lessons. From the Karoo. What can South Africa learn from Orania's model? Orania's existence poses a challenge to the idea of a rainbow nation. While its racial policies are deeply problematic, its economic success and social cohesion offer valuable lessons. Orania demonstrates the power of self-reliance and the importance of strong communities. It highlights the need for safe and secure environments where people feel a sense of belonging. Perhaps the most important lesson that South Africa can learn from Orania is the need for dialogue and understanding. Instead of simply condemning the town, it is essential to engage with its residents and try to understand their motivations and aspirations. Only through open and honest conversation can South Africa hope to bridge its racial divides and build a more just and equitable society.